Okay, this is the target 2J solving inequalities. Solving inequalities retake video. And this is the last one, the last target, 2A through 2J. So to solve this inequality, I need to find my zeros. So my zeros are -2, 1, and 3. And I need to put those in order on a number line down here. Whoa, that got away from me. Let's try that again. That's a little bit better. So I put them in order on the number line, and this happens to be the order -2, then 1, then 3. -2 is first, then 1, then 3. Extend these lines up. Okay, and then I need to put these factors over here, x plus 2, x minus 1, and x minus 3. So I'm going to look at intervals here, and so I'm going to pick something that comes before -2. This side is -infinity, and this side tends towards infinity. But something smaller than -2, like -3. So when I plug in -3, I get -3 plus 2, which is -1. And all I care about is that it's negative. And then I have -3 minus 1, and -3 minus 1 gives me a positive 4. -3 minus 1 is still a -4. And then finally, a -3 minus a -3 is a -6, which is a negative. And a negative times a negative times a negative is negative. And I get that by just counting my negatives. I had an odd amount of negatives, so it's negative. If I have an even amount, it's positive. Now something between -2 and 1 is 0. 0 plus 2 is positive, 0 minus 1 is negative, and 0 minus 3 is negative. And here I have two negatives, which is even, so this is positive. Something between 1 and 3 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, positive. 2 minus 1 is positive, and 2 minus 3 is negative. And I have one negative, so this is negative. And then finally 4. 4 plus 2, positive. 4 minus 1, positive. 4 minus 3, positive. No negative, so it's positive. Now this is saying where it's greater than 0, so that means where it's positive or 0, because of this equal sign. So the or 0 means I'm going to use brackets on everything except the infinities. So I'm choosing where it's positive, so it's positive right here between -2 and 1, and from 3 to infinity. So that's my answer. -2 to 1, close brackets, union 3 to infinity, open bracket on the infinity, and a close bracket on the 3. Okay, so now I have another one. Okay, so for this one, I have to put all of my key points, and my key points are zeros, so I have a 0 here, which is 5, and a 0 here when x is 3. And then I want, because of this equal sign, I want these to have square brackets, or they have to be in my answer. Okay, now factors from the bottom can't be in my answer. So -1 and 7 are still key points, but they can't be in the answer, so they can't equal x. So this means open brackets on any of these. And then always there's open brackets on any infinities. Okay, so now I'm going to do my number line. And I have to put these in order, so it looks like the smallest one is -1. And then there's a +3, a +5, and a +7. Now my factors are x minus 5, and then I have 3 minus x. Now remember, the whole point of this is to find out where it's negative. Since this is to the second power, this is never negative. If I plug in a 5, I get 3 minus 5, which is a -2, but once I square it, I get a +4. So I don't need to put this in my list over off to the side. So I'm going to put x minus 5, x plus 1, and x minus 7. And then I need to pick some points. I'm going to pick a number smaller than -1. Remember, this side's negative infinity, and this side's infinity. So something smaller than -1, like -2. And -2 minus 5 is -7. That's negative. -2 plus 1 is -1, which is negative. And -2 minus 7 is -9. And again, I count how many negatives there are, and there's an odd amount this time, 3 of them. So that gives me a negative. So I pick something between -1 and 3, 0. And 0 minus 5 is negative. 0 plus 1 is positive, and 0 minus 7 is negative. And I have an even amount of negatives, so this is positive. So something between 3 and 5. Ooh. Whoops. So 4. 4 minus 5 is negative, 4 plus 5 is positive, and 4 minus 7 is negative.
4 plus 1 is positive.
Okay, apparently I said that wrong. Okay, so negative times a negative and a positive is a positive. Then something between 5 and 7, which is 6. 6 minus 5 is positive. 6 plus 1 is positive. 6 minus 7 is negative, so I have one negative here. And then finally, I'm looking for something bigger than 7, so 8. 8 minus 5 is positive. 8 plus 1 positive. 8 minus 7 positive. So positive. Okay, so I'm looking for where it's less than 0, which is negatives. So it's negative from here to here, and it's also negative from here to here. Okay, and remember, I want square brackets on 5 and 3, open brackets on the -1 and the 7 and any infinities. So my answer is negative infinity to -1, and -1 we want an open bracket, and negative infinity is also open bracket. And then also between 5 and 7, those are both square brackets. Okay? And remember, you have to show these to a math lab teacher or myself, and then you can do the retake. So here's you try number 1, and you try number 2. Good luck.